Lo marriage my relationship mzuri famba say tunouyawo Tina love coach wedu Panopa relationship goals on the morning galaxy. Tina Pastor Simba is a founder and programs coordinator of Strong Bonds in Marriage Africa. He's also an author of a book titled The Marriage Handbook, and he is a pastor at Praise City Church. Last week it was the bridal party. Inside the bridal party, truth or false? True or false? Okay. Yeah, today it is inside a bachelor's party. Pastor Simba, good morning.
Good morning, Vic, and how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
You know, whenever I'm greeting you, I have to choose from your 10 or so names.
Yes.
Like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nastumbo Pinda bachelor's party pinda inesu Pastor Simba. Tinotowawo kuti vanenge vachiudzwa kuti
mudatobopinda bachelor's party
tukuda.
Yeah. Of course, last week we were at a kitchen party. It was a virtual session, so we were speaking to the ladies, and also the gents were also in that kitchen party, and we spoke about some of the myths, lies, not a kitchen party, and we discussed what must be discussed in those setups. So today, to the flip side, I did the things that they must know before they get married, when their status changes from single to married, and in many cases, maybe not now, but kudara, it was a must when one is getting married. They will have to, to host, or rather, a bachelor's party was supposed to be hosted on their behalf. Mazvano, we don't see many bachelor's parties. I don't know why, but in our times, we used to have lots of these bachelor's parties. And this is something that started way back. Kakao chakakatanga kudara kema bachelor's parties. And the idea was to maybe get an opportunity to train or rather to celebrate with that person in a marriage, their last day or last days as singles, and you celebrate with them. So that was the whole idea. And unfortunately, traditionally, when this thing was started, it was started, I think, name wrong motives. The celebration for some people meant that you'd bring in strippers so that one would party for the last time before they get into a prison, as they would call marriage then. So to make sure that they spoil you in their own way by bringing all these things. So a lot of these bachelor's parties were just excuses to indulge in immorality, drunkenness, strippers, prostitutes, and beer drinking contests and all that. So traditionally, that's what we know about bachelor's parties. But over time, things changed. We started seeing teachings happening at bachelor's parties, which was a welcome move, something positive. Kutaenda bachelor's party, tonzwa dzidziso inotibatsira how to handle. One is getting year training, and part of this training means that you need to go through relationship training. Okay, this is how you handle relationships. And if you call yourself a bachelor, that should be a priority. In the meantime, before I get married, I must learn how to relate with people. First and foremost, how to relate with myself as a person. That's where we talk about, self-introspect. It's very important, because your responsibility years of your life as a man, as a bachelor. So it was really very important. You don't want to get married and you're visionless, you're directionless. So men, let's start from there. Before you get to that bachelor's party where you're going to be taught in just a few hours before your marriage, now start thinking about the future. Start planning. Start, putting things in place. Your work, your profession, and all those things. That's why you find that with Adam was actually given Eve after Atombo Seyenza. So it's job first, it's work first, before you qualify to get married. That was the plan from the beginning. So men, the word men is an acronym. It means that you have a morning. M is morning. So you need to know what happens in the morning. What must you do in the morning? That's preparation. Prepare. Don't just go there and take whatever is and you have not done any preparation. No amount of advice will help you on that bachelor's party. No amount of advice will help you. So it's very important for you to understand that all things, preparation and all that, all those things happen in the morning. And then you've got an afternoon, obviously. Afternoon is your time of employing, or rather put into use whatever you have learned, working and all that, building or amassing wealth, just growing, materially, financially and all that. That's your afternoon. And every man is an afternoon where they have to work. And obviously the last letter, which is N, represents night. There's a night time for men. And I think that's a subject for another day. What happens in the night, where how the father treats the mother and all that. So unfortunately, there isn't much that we are learning from our parents. Of course, we have people that learn from their parents. We have good parents out there. They're very good. They're still there. But a lot of us grew up putting a proper functioning relationship. It was dysfunctional for most people. So they didn't take much from what they learned from my parents. That's why they need to do what is called, or rather go through a process of reparenting. When you go back into your into your years when you're young, you then unpack some of the things that you didn't learn and etc. There are discussions there around our relationships with our women, and unfortunately, Pampacho, we then catch the bad. We catch the positive, the negative stuff from there, and then we come home and we begin. And these are married people.
It's so sad.
Yeah,
it's a shame. Shame on you, boo.
Shame on you. Especially as far as there's a lot that is happening. Kuti muri rent a flat. Muri 6.
Yes.
Share my flat. Tukuzviziva. Muma furniture. Tukuzviziva. But it's so sad that when men
Thank you for the warning.
Your income streams. Hands ukangomuradza mari inopera yese. Yes, to some extent I agree. Kuti pamupano mudzimai anogona kunge akadaro zvake aringori espenda, but from a number of cases that I have, it's actually wrong advice coming from other men. Then there are some, number 2, that say don't share sensitive information. And it answers the madam Havana Hana. I've heard this statement. And Doto shout Hana Yavasina hip.
It can also be used against you.
Yes. but this is how God created the institution of marriage. Because we are always thinking to achieve A, B, C, D. But the challenge sometimes that we don't have is that we don't have that breaking system. Atina machikira, we can actually do pasiripo. So when your wife is in touch with what is happening in your world and she knows exactly what you are pursuing, they can then become that internal breaking system that you want. They can then bring the necessary questions, ask the necessary questions, so that you don't end up on the wrong side of the law, etc. So it's very important. Exactly. Yeah. So tell your madam, your hustle secrets. This is what I do. And I know way whatever options that will be there. I choose my ideas. Because remember, like we always say, good women were created with this thing. Natural. They can help because God created them. Van to my extras so that they can actually be in a position to help, to give you advice, proper advice yokuti unotoshamisika munhu haana chikoro zvake but ari kutoziva zvimwe zvinhu because this is something that is intrinsic, that was put in them by God. So it's important for us to share with our wives so that we also get advice. And the Pamopachi, when you share this information with them, it's like you're taking off that load off your shoulders. That's why it is end up